Attenzione, because it is Blue Monday, and because it's Blue Monday, we speak about the Blues. In this moment, as we speak, as I am recording, Juventus Football Club is in direct contact with Chelsea for Renato Veiga. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. We speak about Renato Veiga, not only him, because we also have to speak about Lloyd Kelly. That could potentially be another reinforcement about Juve. Pay attention, the strategy of the defenders, according to me, is a total disaster. But we wait to speak about Mercato, entry and exit with a potential bomba that is coming from the sides of Milan. Not only for Tomori, but maybe for a sale from Juve for Tomori. Attenzione, attenzione. Put a maximum of like if you didn't yet. Please continue to subscribe to the channel because now we start. Before speaking about Mercato, we speak about what is happening also right now. I'm not speaking about the sporting directors, but I'm speaking about on the field. There is the training session before Brugge Juventus, and the good news, at least if we still stay in that topic of Mercato, is that Kolo Muani is alive. He is there training with the team. You will tell me, Beppe, did we finally announced officially Kolo Muani? No, not yet, but at least we received green light for him to train with the team and to also show the images from a distance that he's there. He was doing the rondo this morning. Good. What else about Paris Saint-Germain and Juve? When should it come? Well, this week. Some people are even anticipating towards the day of Wednesday. I will wait a bit. We have time until Friday midnight to be sure that he's officially subscribed, announced, and that all the documents are okay for him to be there in the game against Napoli. No doubts about that, according to Fabrizio Romano and all the parts involved. The other good news, fantastic news, is that today in training session we saw not only Kolo Muani, but also three important players that we were doubting that they would be there this morning with the team. We speak about Ken Agnelli that went out of the field at the 46 for a small muscle fatigue. We saw this morning also Weston McKennie, and we saw again, hallelujah, we saw Conceição with the team. The three of them were training today. Does that mean that the three of them will be called up for the game against Brugge? Not sure yet. We are waiting for the press conference of Thiago Motta today. So the team is training today. Then they will depart at 3:30 p.m. Italian time to go towards Belgium, my country. They do a walk around the stadium of Brugge at 5:30, and then at 5:50 there will be the press conference of Thiago Motta that will tell us if yes or no the players could play. We will already know, of course, due to the squad list, if the three players that we just mentioned will be there with the team. Pay attention, before entering the big Mercato topic, that Brugge is not as easy as a lot of people would think, or especially not as easy as people were thinking when we made these draws. I always told you, pay attention to that pot 4, because Brugge is a tough one, and they are confirming it. If you are looking at what they are doing in Belgium, well, they are second, yes, but at 1 point from the leaders, and they already have a gap with the third one that is really huge from 10 points. They are winning. The last 5 games, win. If we want to go towards the last time that they were beaten, we need to go towards 18 games ago. So it's already 18 games unbeaten. The last time that they were beaten was in Champions League 1-0 against Milan. If we go towards the last time that they were beaten in their home, it was against, I think, a Belgium team. I think it was Genk, but it was a loss 23 games ago. So since 22 games, they are unbeaten at home. 18 games unbeaten in total. 5 wins in a row for Brugge. So pay attention. We'll go, of course, with more details tomorrow for the match day. Now I believe it's time to go towards the other news. The news about Mercato. Tutto Sport. What is Tutto Sport saying? Svolta Kenny. Turnaround Juve. We change the plans. We go for Kelly, or at least anche Kelly, also Kelly, Lloyd from Newcastle, that is there already with the black and white stripes on the front page of the Italian pages. Mamma mia. Stop. My opinion, honest opinion about that. The situation about the defenders, honestly, I said it in the intro and I continue and I repeat it, it is a total disaster, honestly. At today, we should have had 2 defenders in the team. At today, the 20th of January, we should have had 2 defenders in the team. At least one had to be there, as I always told you, on the 2nd of January. Because Bremer, we already know that he was injured in October. Cabal, we knew that he was injured in November. We had all the time in the world to already go full power, to already find a defender. If you really didn't want to go for the free transfers, like for example Sergio Ramos, all the respect of the world if you were not believing that that would be the player that you wanted, but then I was expecting a player now, immediately. We are the 20th, we have 0 defenders. 0 extra defender except of Alberto Costa that didn't make his debut against Milan. He will also not make his official debut against Brugge because we know it. The new players cannot play in Champions League. Will he enter a few minutes against Napoli? I doubt about it, but maybe after that, maybe the games of Empoli in Serie A. Who knows? Look, you know what is really worrying about that entire situation? Not only that the players are not there, but that also every single day we are hearing new names that are linked to Juve. And when we hear too many names, well, it stressed me out because it looks like, I'm not sure if it's like that, but it looks like there is not a real idea. There is confusion. There is a lot of we want to, but we don't know. We go and then we can't. And that cannot happen on the 20th because we know it. The Mercato will close on the 3rd of February, so we have still 13 days. But in 13 days, we have a lot of things to do in that Mercato session. Look, the initial names and plans for this Mercato were, and we know it, Hansko, Tomori, Araujo, Antonio Silva. For all of them, if you watch the channel, we always explained why they are not here. Araujo, new contacts with the president, with the sporting director Deco to stay at Barcelona. Antonio Silva, Jorge Mendes tried, and then it's difficult because the Benfica, they want extremely a lot of money, and probably it's not immediately ready for Juve, but maybe a potential future talent that could play Hansko, Feyenoord. They don't want to speak about it in January, but maybe later in the summer. No, maybe, surely in the summer, if Juventus is still interested. And that's a big one. That's a really big one. Then we have a new name. And that name today that came is Renato Veiga. Not only Renato Veiga, also Lloyd Kelly. Two names that when I heard them, especially one more than the other, I was like, Juventus is looking for 2 defenders. If I was dreaming, it's a big word, but if I was thinking about Hansko, Araujo as 2 center backs, and you give me Renato Veiga, Lloyd Kelly, looks like we are like, okay, we couldn't go for the other ones. Let's try to find other profiles that are free today, possible today, and on loan with an option today. So easy transfer, cheap transfers, and players that we could go and sign them. They are not my favorites, I tell you. Especially one of the 2. I don't understand it. Well, let's start immediately with which one I really don't understand or don't like. It is Lloyd Kelly. Lloyd Kelly that comes from Bournemouth on a free transfer to Newcastle. We know it, Bournemouth. They go for our player, the biggest regret of this campaign. Much more than Soule, much more than Federico Chiesa, much more than Barrenechea, Eiling Jr. It is Dean Huijsen. They go for him. It is a regret. It is what it is. We need to move on. He goes to Newcastle where he's not playing. He played only 18% as a starter in the games of Premier League with Newcastle, only 15% of the total minute of disposal. It's a player that is already 26. It's a player with some injury record. It's a player that, yes, he's a left foot player. He can play as a center back, which is his natural position. He can also play as a left back. Okay, I understand it, but according to me, it's a huge big risk. It's probably not at the level of being at Juve today, except if, of course, the players can always surprise me. If they arrive at Juve, I support them, but that would not have been my first choice. Absolutely not. That was not the name that I was really expecting to see here today. And I'm not even telling you, if we go for 2 defenders, of course, you will have one that is not as great, as big name as the other one. But even as the second option, I was not expecting Lloyd Kelly. Let's see if that will happen or not, if these talks will go with Newcastle or not. On the other side, there is another name that is quite interesting, honestly, and it is Renato Veiga. For a lot of things, Renato Veiga is already 21. No, he's only 21, Portuguese player that also there, he's not playing with Chelsea. We know the situation at Chelsea with 42 players registered is really a lot. It's huge. It's really huge, and that makes sense that a lot of players are not finding space and are looking to go to other teams to have that time at disposal. It's a player that at today I could describe like a Cabal, but probably at today Cabal time 3 in terms of how strong he is today and ready he is today. Player that is already in the Portuguese national team round, somewhere like that. He already played 3 times there. A player that can play as a center back, can play as a left back, which Portugal, when he plays, sometimes he's played there as a left back. So left back, center back, especially center back with a left foot. So looks like Juventus, when we are looking at these players that can play these two positions with the left foot, they already gave up on Hansko. They understood that Hansko, it will not be possible because Feyenoord is stubborn. They say, no, we don't give Hansko. Forget about it in the month of January. You want to have him, go back in the month of July, but now it is impossible. So looks like Juventus, they want to go for another player like that can do these two roles, because we need to speak about Cambiaso in a second. Renato Veiga, I told you 3 times Cabal at today for personality. For a player that is already ready in terms of a bit more experience, already experienced what it is to stay in a big club, even if before Chelsea he came from Switzerland. Switzerland, that is actually a beautiful test trial ground for the player that then go to Italy, because in Switzerland, you have the 3 languages. You have French, you have German, you have Italian, depending where you play. You also have the bit that more Italian culture that is not always a huge big shock. It's a player that is extremely elegant, extremely technique with the ball, probably different. If we are comparing with Hansko, with all these players, probably different in terms of, Tomori, etc. In that first man marking, absolutely not that aggressive player that will go on the player, probably much better on the ball. And of course, if we are thinking about a left foot that can do the 2 roles, that is really great with the ball, that is technical, that can goes up, who are you thinking about? Today, 3 times Cabal, that was that idea. But probably in the future, I don't want to mention him too much, but probably the new potential Calafiori in the idea of Thiago Motta and Cristiano Giuntoli. So I would not be closed if it's an option to buy for that player. They will speak about it. Juventus want an option. Chelsea would love to get rid of him 100%. Now pay attention, because I don't know how many loans they have out of England, and I don't want to live again that Kolo Muani situation. But again, I am not sure about that. Tomori. And now we go towards another bomba that at today I'm not sure if I believe yet or not. But I will just tell you. It comes from the Milan site and Milan insiders. Looks like Tomori said no to the big expert journalists, because they are saying no, the player is doubting, he's not sure that he wants to join Juve. What they are not saying is what Milan thinks about that situation. I'm not sure if Tomori really said no. At the moment, I always told you, I believe that it makes no sense, especially for Conceição. If you are looking at the roster of center defenders, after Ciao, after Vlahovic, they don't have defenders. And that's what is blocking Tomori at Juve. The fact that Conceição is saying, or you find me 1 or 2 defender, or Tomori doesn't move from here. And of course, Tomori is saying, I will not piss off my new coach. I prefer to be here a starter with Conceição than to push to go to Juve, that at the end maybe it will not even happen, and then I will not even play with Conceição. So it's a difficult situation. But according to what I hear from Milan, they go totally crazy. Milan should think, or is thinking, possibly at the moment. I hear a lot of possibly, maybe, should, because let's say it. Milan is probably thinking at the moment to offer to Juventus a swap for a player from our team, Dusan Vlahovic. They want Tomori to Juve, Vlahovic to Milan immediately, now in January. 30 million is the value of Tomori. They want to give 15 million cash to go for Dusan Vlahovic, which would be a total value of Dusan 45 million euro. First of all, I don't know if it's true. Secondly, guys, I don't know what they are doing at Milan, but probably they are still like that after the 2-0, after the Bangula away goals. Probably they're... Anyway, let's move on. We go towards another topic, a topic that we said 2 days ago here on the video when we were speaking about Mercato. I told you if really Cambiaso would leave, I hope that Cristiano Giuntoli already have the replacement. Because if you don't have the replacement today, the value of the player that you will go for, especially in Italy, they will rise. They will go there on top of the sky. Today we hear that Juventus would really go and do a forcing for Patrick Dorgu. Not immediately in January, but if not in January, it would be in the month of July for next summer to go for that player. But the request is already 40 million euro. Today I even heard that Manchester United is on the player, and it is exactly the same value. I told you, from the moment that you have a player that you want to go for, a player that is good and valid, because Patrick Dorgu, I always told you, according to me, even better than an Udogie. Well, if you didn't have him already under contract, more or less, with all the agreements, pay attention, because then it's too late. Especially if they know that you have money, then forget about it. So Patrick Dorgu, I think that today already I can say goodbye to Patrick, to never see him as a Bianconero, especially not in the next few Mercato sessions. But there are still a few names that we need to speak about, because you will tell me, Beppe, okay, but what is interesting for us is, what about our boy? What about our boy Cambiaso? Because we were speaking that much about it, that he was nearly in the few hours going to City. What is happening? Well, Cambiaso and Douglas Luiz, Manchester City and Pep Guardiola are extremely interested in these two players. At the moment, there is no offer. On the other side, that offer could arrive for both players. What is the offer that could potentially come? Well, Manchester City, they want to bring back home Douglas Luiz, because you know it has been for 2 weeks a player from Manchester City there in their training ground, before understanding that there were some passport problems and he went on loan to Girona. Well, they want to bring him back, but they want a loan with an option. Juventus is categoric on that one. They don't want. They are absolutely not interested in that formula. For Juventus, he's not for sale. On the other side, he's also not untouchable. If a real offer would arrive in these coming days for an option, no. For an obligation, yes. So a loan with an obligation from City to Douglas Luiz for at least what we spent on him in the summer, Juventus would really think about it and speak about it with the player. I would not love Douglas Luiz to leave. I know that he's underperforming, that we were expecting much more at today, but I would absolutely not want to. Then let's see if that offer will really arrive. And what about Cambiaso? Well, at the moment, at today, there is still no official offer, like Cristiano Giuntoli told us before, Juve, Milan, but that offer could really arrive. 80 million is really what Juventus is asking for the player. Let's see how high Manchester City can go with that first offer. If it's not high enough, they will stop every contact. If it's high but not reaching about, they will continue to discuss to have him as soon as possible. So let's see about Cambiaso and Douglas Luiz. Hope you enjoyed that video. A lot of news, bomba news, Lloyd, Kelly, Dusan, Vlahovic, Tomori that didn't say no, but some said no, Cambiaso, Renato Veiga, mamma mia. The 3 players that are playing maybe tomorrow against Brugge, Conceição, Yildiz, McKennie, Kolo Muani, that is, mamma mia, what a video. Put a maximum of like if you did it, please continue to subscribe, grazie, forza, Juve.